name is Shannon Brackney, and I'm going to do my interview on Kyle Perkins on the trauma that he underwent in high school. Kyle, do I have your permission to share this video with my communication professor?
Yes, you do.
Great. So let's get started. Do you mind telling us a little bit about your story and when you tore your UCL and how you went about getting back into baseball?
Sure. So, ever since I was a little kid growing up, grew up in Massachusetts, big Boston Red Sox fan right here. I fell in love with baseball at a young age and continued playing it, up through high school and eventually college. So my whole life I was dedicated to be the best athlete I can be in that sport. Eventually moved down to Florida, and Florida, along with other states like Texas and California, have great weather all year long. So it gave me more time to just enhance my skills and become a better player all around. Fortunately, when you play too much baseball and don't rest your body, as you're especially in the development ages of your teen years, you can end up causing stress to parts of your body. In my case, my UCL eventually required me to have surgery my sophomore year of high school.
Wow. Did this surgery affect your relationship with your friends and family?
Not in a bad way. I felt like I was letting my teammates down back when it happened. We were a good high school team, and I was gonna be one of the main guys moving forward. So it was kind of a letdown when I had to miss a whole year of baseball. I felt I was letting my parents down too. Put a lot of hard work and money into get me to where I wanted to be. But they were able to be with me and gave me support through this tough time that I had.
I'm sure they understood, even though you felt like you were letting them down. They understood that you wanted to be the best baseball player you could and help the team out, but you tore your ligament.
Right.
Did you have a job at the time of your surgery? If so, did it affect your ability to work?
So yeah, I had a couple part-time jobs throughout the years. So during the summertime, I would work as a baseball coach at baseball camps. I coach. My coaching style is very physical and energized. So I like to move around, throw the ball, hit, run around with the kids and athletes. So that was tough not being able to do that following summer after my surgery. And then during the other couple semesters in school, I helped out at a batting cage. So not being able to just be as physical and throw to guys and girls that wanted to hit off me was tough, and I couldn't work that entire year because I was recovering.
You had a very physical job. It wasn't an office job where you were able to work. You were doing physical labor. Yeah. You said you were in high school when you had this surgery. Did this affect your ability to do schoolwork and writing and?
No, I was fine in school when it happened. I wore a big cast on my arm. However, I write lefty, so it didn't hurt my ability to function normally in school. I had to leave class a few minutes earlier, so I wasn't walking the halls bumping into people. Yeah. Other than that, it was fine. I was still motivated to do well in school as well, so it was fine.
Wow. Well, that actually worked in your advantage then, that you're left-handed, so you were still able to write, and most people are right-handed, so it actually worked out in school.
Yep.
How did you know you tore your UCL?
At first I didn't know. It doesn't just happen all, just like that. It was kind of building up a lot of stress. I mentioned, I was playing baseball every day, all year round. The last month or two in that fall semester leading up to my injury, I felt it kind of, just feeling a little different when I was throwing. And then I had a tryout December, and as I was throwing and playing catch, getting ready to throw down to bases and show my arm strength, I felt a pop in my arm, and I knew it wasn't a normal pop. So I tried sucking it up and going through the rest of the tryout, like normal.
Yeah, like any guy would do.
Because I knew a lot of people there, and I didn't want to let them down. My dad was there too. So, when I was throwing and hitting, I did terrible. My dad was kind of looking at me like, okay, this is weird, you're not like this. So, after I told him what happened, and I told, the coach afterwards what happened, I didn't end up making the team. But, I was more concerned with what happened to my arm versus, just not being on that team.
Yeah.
So after that happened, I went to a doctor, and he said just take a month, off and then come back, and we'll revisit my arm. So after a month, I didn't really work out that part of my body at all.
So you weren't doing any physical therapy at that time. You were just resting your arm, not
just
doing baseball, just
doing some stretches, right?
Okay.
So I would say mid to late January of that next year.
Okay.
Checked it out. Still wasn't feeling good. So I eventually took my parents and we wanted to speak with some specialists that dealt with arm injuries like this.
Okay.
So we met with a couple doctors. One that works down in Fort Lauderdale is very good. Worked a lot of pro athletes and fixed them. So we ended up we decided to go with that doctor and get the surgery. We knew the risk of what could happen.
Mm-hmm.
It could hurt my body even more. I could do the surgery and then not recover. But the odds were in my favor a lot more than just hoping and waiting to see if it was going to recover on its own and not doing anything. So that February of that next year, I had the surgery, and the doctor was able to take an extra ligament from my right knee, and put it in my arm right here. Here's a scar right here.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
And that surgery was how long ago? How many years?
Let's see. I think I was 16. It was sophomore year. Might have been 2011 is when it happened. February 2011. So, it was cool what he did, and as far as just the way he did it, and it was a successful surgery.
Well, that's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. How did you cope with knowing once you tore it that you wouldn't be able to play baseball again unless you had the surgery? Were you upset or angry or?
Well, at first I was more scared than anything of just the hard work I had of not being able to do it again, and what if the surgery wasn't going to help, and what if I just started throwing again and I felt pain and it didn't work? So it was scary not knowing what was going to happen. Once I had it, but luckily it turned out well.
Did you look to religion at all when thinking if you should do the surgery? Did you pray and?
Yeah. I mean, my mom is a Christian, and so am I. So, going to church and praying, helps a lot. Just being a good person too, helps, put things in perspective,
mm-hmm.
and being around good people as well, and just getting positive vibes helped as well. So yeah, of course, religion helped, and just getting support from various people helped as well during the recovery process.
So after you had the surgery, about 3 months you were in a cast?
Yeah, so right after the surgery, I had this big robotic contraption and a hard cast, and I was able to, and by hard cast, I don't mean it was like kind of that clay,
mm-hmm.
molded kind of cast. I was able to take off everything and shower.
Okay.
However, it was really scary. The first night when I showered, I almost fainted because I was scared my arm was just going to just drop just like that.
Yeah.
So I was able to, still take my arm out of its cast at night and go to sleep. I had to sleep on it a certain way, and it was really uncomfortable. So I had that for about 2.5 to 3 months. So then after that, I was able to kind of get into more of a sling kind of thing.
Okay.
And that's when I started my physical therapy. So when that happened, I was able to, work with a trained professional that worked with a lot of pro athletes and collegiate athletes. So, I knew I was in good hands, but it was still, really scary, not knowing my arm was going to feel like when I started trying to get better.
So it did affect your home life, being able to sleep
mm-hmm.
and shower a little bit because you had to be sure not to.
Putting clothes on was, real pain as well. So
that's very hard. I can see how that would be very hard. So you cope with it by just realizing that.
So, I coped with it by, knowing that, my hard work was going to get me through it, and the people around me were going to get through it.
Okay.
So, like I said, I was with a trained professional in the physical therapy department.
Mm-hmm.
He put me on a really good program. I believe it was at least 3 times a week I would go there
Wow.
and have a program of, doing different weight exercises of, just raising and, going this way and some, just strengthening up, with very light weights to just get some motion back in my arm. And he also did some very painful stretches as well, just to, loosen up my arm because, it was locked into place here for a while, and eventually we had to get it back to where I could, have, a straight function of it. Because
and
when
I see your arm still isn't perfectly straight.
No, well, that's more of a, you can kind of tell here, it kind of lashes out a little bit. That had nothing to do with the surgery, though.
Okay.
My arm was just kind of like that as my bones and joints, matured. But that might have affected a little bit how I recovered, because normally recovery is about 9 to 10 months, and mine took, around 11 to 12 to feel like I was, fully recovered from it. So, it just kind of, some of the stretches and exercises were a little bit tougher just because my arm was kind of acting a little bit weird because of how my arm is, formed.
Yeah, so you say that physical therapy probably helped you the most in your recovery?
I believe.
You're a healthcare professional?
Yeah, I believe it was the right thing to do, especially going to a sports physical therapist that knew what they were doing and how to handle, something such as this type of injury and surgery.
Yeah, it's intense surgery.
And once I was getting strength and getting better and back into shape, I was given a throwing program that I had to start on for the next few months to build back up my arm strength. And that was probably the scariest part of the whole process of what if I did all this work and I wasn't able to throw. I was just scared of feeling pain again, honestly. So, during times when I would throw, I felt pain. I would tell my physical therapist, and they said, that's normal. You're gonna feel some discomfort, even if it's tough pain. Then we'll shut it down. So a period of time, I did feel some bad pain when I was throwing, so we had to shut it down for a couple weeks. That was a setback. However, then we went back to it, and I was able to gain more confidence in my ability to throw harder and further. So eventually,
working at it.
So I knew there was going to be pain and struggle. It was just scary when it happened. If did the surgery actually work? Then I was ready to kind of go back in that baseball mode of swinging a bat again, throwing more like 80, 90 to 100% of what I needed to do. I used to be a pitcher. That's kind of how I hurt my arm. But then I transitioned over to a catcher. So catching is just as grueling as pitching because every ball that pitcher throws, the catcher receives it and throws it back. So he's involved in every play of the game. So I knew I had to get my body and arm back in shape to play that position again. So once I was ready to kind of get back in that mode, I trained with a great catching coach, very motivational person that worked me hard, gave me confidence and strength to trust my arm, and got me back in that physical shape of just feeling like a good baseball player again. Not so much just feeling like I can throw, but knowing how to throw and hit again was very helpful from his
start from step one and get back to where you were before the surgery.
Yep.
So you were able to continue your baseball career?
Yeah, so after that following summer and approaching that fall, I was kind of entering the final phase of my recovery process.
Okay.
So when the time came for that next spring, because baseball is in the spring semesters of high school, the fall is more like just fall ball and practice kind of thing. So my junior year of baseball, I was able to be ready to play for the team again, which I did, and I was able to start getting looked at by some good recruiting programs from various parts of Florida, and I went to a tournament that next summer and was talking to a couple of New York teams, so I was getting looked at, which was very good. It felt good. My parents were happy, and my goal was to be able to play in college, so it was nice that people were interested in me. So that next year, my senior year, I started going to some camps at a couple colleges, and that was probably the best thing for me. They get a really good look at you, and I was able to get a spot on a team on UCF baseball team. They're a very good baseball team. They were in a regional a couple years before I came to that school, and they just got a regional this year. So they're a very competitive baseball team. So I was really excited to be able to be a part of that team.
Well, that's very inspiring that you went from playing baseball, tearing your ligament, going through surgery, recovering, and you were able to make the team at UCF. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
And that is the end of this interview. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.